Hi there, this is Solitron from Solitron Films, and welcome to another random review. This is a review of a modern film. Holy moly. This one comes from 2021, and it's Missing, which is a Japanese film directed by Shinzo Katayama. This is a Region A Blu-ray from Dark Star releasing. This has some Q&As with the director, a fairly new director. Now this is another recommendation by Hoos, A Touch of Film. Again, I'll put the link to his video where he mentioned this film. It's a serial killer film, and before you switch off, it's a little bit different from the usual serial killer films, because I think all of us can agree that we're perhaps at a certain stage with serial killer films that perhaps we've had enough of them, but this one is a little bit different. Obviously by the cover art you're perhaps led to believe who the missing person will actually be, but that's not actually the case. So I'm just going to give a brief outline of the film, but considering it is so modern, certainly for me, because it's 2 years old, which is almost unheard of on my channel, I'm not going to go into spoilers because there would be quite a lot of spoilers for this film. So the film starts with this schoolgirl running through the streets looking for her father, and he has shoplifted for a very small amount of money, and she says that he's not quite right in the head and please let him off, and he acts in a fairly strange, closed down kind of way, and then they go back to their house, and then it's the father who goes missing. The girl, with the help of a school teacher and a boy from school who fancies her, to try and get her father back, and then she receives a text from him saying, "Don't bother looking for me, I'm fine." There is a serial killer on the loose, and before he disappears the father says that he has seen him. There's a 3 million yen bounty on his head. The serial killer, not the father. So perhaps has he been taken by the serial killer, or is he chasing the serial killer for the 3 million yen, which would help the family out after their mother has died. And it follows the schoolgirl trying to find her father, being kind of upset that perhaps he's just left her. Now she does fairly unlikable things, including things to a nun that you shouldn't probably do to a nun. And then the film goes back in time to show you a little bit about the killer, because by this point we know what he looks like, because there's posters on the streets of what he looks like, and it also goes back to show you the father's story. Now this is an example of a film that uses flashbacks in a good way. Lots of times films use flashbacks just to use flashbacks, but these flashbacks actually explain a lot. So when we come back to the moment where present time is unfolding on her search for her father, there's more kind of gravitas to it. It's actually a serial killer film that may make you shed a little tear as well. There's lots of ping pong action in it. If you're a fan of ping pong, that might be the thread that pulls you in. It does bring up questions about death and family, and exactly what is murder. The killer's motivations are quite interesting and again bring up questions. So this isn't a simple kind of stalk and slash serial killer film. There's more going on. I have seen kind of negative reviews of the film for being predictable and ordinary and nobody's likable. You could argue perhaps nobody's particularly engaging in the film, but I think it is done in a realistic way, and certainly I was hooked in to the characters and you want to know what is going on. And certainly some people will perhaps find it a little bit easier to identify with some of the characters' motivations than other people. Again, perhaps that was just my kind of view of the film. Again, I think the film does go in different directions, as I said. Due to the artwork, you perhaps think the schoolgirl is the one that goes missing, but spoiler alert, she's not. She's the one that's actually finding it. In fact, or trying to find somebody that goes missing, her father. And as I say, there's there's information that comes up during the flashbacks that it is different from the normal, quote unquote, normal serial killer film that perhaps we've all grown a little tired of. Katayama is a protege of Bong Joon-ho, apparently. He also has done Gannibal, which sounds interesting, about an ex-police officer who retires to the country, and then a body is found. Again, I'll have to see if that's... It does have a very long running time, so I don't know whether that's actually a television programme or whether it's a film. I'll have to look that up. No doubt Hoos knows and will be telling us to pick it up in his next video. I would say the Region A Blu-ray is currently fairly expensive, but hopefully it will get a Region B release and have a wider kind of release. Again, it is from 2021, so I'm sure over the passing of time it might get a Region B release and it might be a bit cheaper, but it was really worth it. So recently the two Hoos recommendations have hit out the park as far as I'm concerned, for Swing Girls from 2004 and Missing from 2021. Again, a bit of a different serial killer film as far as motivation, and it does ask questions, again, when people are desperate, sometimes people do desperate things for money, and there's a lot more going on than, as I say, your standard stalk and slash that perhaps we've all kind of grown a little tired of. So that's a fairly spoiler-free review of Missing from 2021 by Shinzo Katayama. Perhaps a name to keep an eye on. Again, I'll leave the link to A Touch of Film and Hoosie's video where he talks about Missing in the description below. So thanks very much for watching. Please let me know if you've seen Missing from 2021. Let me know what you think about it. And hopefully you'll join me again for more random reviews. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, saying cheerio.